Hey everyone, I am delighted to present a special guest on this episode. This is Kim Maxwell. Kim and I actually go back a number of years. We actually met and collaborated on some websites together back in 2017, and then we didn't see each other for a number of years. And then last year we also collaborated on some paid advertising and other side projects. So yeah, I'm really pleased to have Kim on my podcast today.
Thanks for
So
having me.
to get started, I thought maybe you could just tell us about why web development is for you and why you're passionate about it.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. Makes us sound like we've been doing this forever. Mentioning 2017, I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah.
Uh, but to answer your question, to be honest with you, I fell into what I'm doing now. I was taking a little break from what I was studying at uni back in 2014. And during that time, on my break, I had a few people ask me if I knew how to make websites. And me being me, I just said, yeah, sure, why not? I gave it a go and I haven't stopped doing it all of these years later. So I think this year would be about the 10-year mark. Um, I think what's kept me excited about it is it's a mix of two loves of mine. One is the technical side. So when someone has a website that needs to solve a more technical problem, I love getting into the guts of that. And then the other side is the design side. So I also love that component and being able to be creative and create a design that users really love.
Hmm.
And so much so that now I am studying my master's in software, and hopefully I can take this website thing to the next level by then now working on more web apps and software. So yeah, it's definitely something that I've been working on for a long time, and I've still got many years to go as it evolves into something new. So yeah, that's probably my answer.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, it's really lovely to hear that you're all about tech. Listeners to this podcast are like small business owners, and for a lot of them, like computers and technology and website stuff is just not their thing. And that it's okay to not know things,
Yes.
and it's okay to try things yourself, but it's also okay to reach out for help. Because like it sort of seems like some people sort of like intuitively know their way around phone apps and websites and things.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you as a business owner like have to intuitively know that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
um
There are a lot of platforms that do make it easy for people to get started though. So, um, platforms like Squarespace, for example, are one way that people can get started really easily. And or you can talk to someone like myself who can help you out further. So yeah, there are so many options now, which is good.
mhm, definitely. So I wanted to roll into the next question, which is what is the most common website challenge that your clients have when they come to you?
Yeah, so think for that, it's not really a specific problem about their website. It's more so how the website can actually work for their business.
Hmm.
So a lot of people, maybe they'll get a website up and running and it's not really bringing in any sales,
Hmm.
or they're not really putting it out there and not many people are looking at it. And I think that that's probably the biggest challenge. So that's where people like yourself come in to bring visitors to the website. And then you've got the other challenge of actually converting people once they do get onto the website.
Hmm.
So it is that combination of people like myself working with people like you coming together to come up with the complete strategy of how do we get the eyeballs, coming through to the
Mhm.
website and then making them convert on the other side once they do arrive on the website. So that's probably the largest challenge. Um, the other thing is that some people think that their website would be good for one thing, but it may be better in another area. So, uh, for example, some people might not know the capability of what their website can do. They they might not know that it can integrate into their shipping or their logistics, or they can collect information via web forms. And I guess people don't know what they don't know. So
Mm.
often it's really great to have a conversation with someone like myself or with you who has that little bit of knowledge about, okay, so this is your business need. How can we make the website come and meet your business needs? And there's normally something we can do there to help improve their overall processes and how the website can work for them. So, yeah, that's probably the challenge.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, and you touched on something pretty important, which is that there's a lot of things about websites and technology that a small business owner might not know. And
Yes.
you might not know that your website could, automatically sign people into your booking system and you're doing all that stuff
Yes.
manually. Like that could save you so much
Oh,
time. Yeah.
that's right. Yes. Yes. So many features, and the possibilities are really endless.
Yeah. And like another important thing about that too is like websites, there's more to it than just making it look pretty. Like you do need to have a strategy in mind, and a design in mind that encourages your visitors to actually make a connection with you, whether that's sending you a
That's right.
message or making a purchase.
Yes, that's right. So that's definitely the on-page optimizations that we can do to improve the conversions, to make sure that people can actually find the contact button or the buy now button and things like that. So it's
Mhm.
another challenge as well, making sure that once people land, they know where to go. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So this is a good segue into the next questions, which is, what are some things that websites absolutely need?
Sure. Well, the thing I I believe what makes there's a difference between a good website and a great website, and I believe a great website does have found fantastic branding as its foundation, I
Yeah.
would say. You can tell you go on a website and it might look like a cookie cutter website, and the problem with that is it's harder to establish trust because it looks too generic.
Mhm.
And it's harder, for people to remember you because there's nothing stand out about it. So I think that, branding is really important. So working with people within our creative sphere, sorry, such as
You can call it a
graphic
spear.
designers, graphic sphere, yeah, graphic designers, UX designers, photographers, videographers, those creatives can really help your website stand out. Because when I build a website, yes, I can give you a good user experience. I can give you an overall uh, look and feel and design and layout and the features that you need. But really, it's good to do that groundwork first to
Mhm.
ensure that you do have brand consistency across both online and offline platforms. And then the way a photographer can come in is that it humanizes your website rather than using stock photos. People can really tell if you're standing there and you've got your business merch on, they're like, yeah, these guys are serious
Mhm.
kind of thing. So I feel like a great website will have those elements. And then I guess as well, what does a good website need? It just needs to work as well. So just doing all of the basic stuff, making sure that all the links work, making sure that you can check out, making sure that things are easy to read, it works on mobile. So
Mhm.
just make sure that all of your basics are just done,
Yeah.
and to take it to the next level, make sure that you have really good branding.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, I would argue, yeah, at the very bare minimum, just have a means to contact you.
Yeah.
If you're like a service provider and people can like communicate with you over the phone or have your
Yes.
like operating hours and your days,
Yes.
because then you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about checking your messages on the weekend.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, just make sure that the website works
Yeah, yeah,
fundamentally and that
yeah,
people exactly. Yeah, that's right.
yeah. So you need to think about what you need it to do for you, and you need to figure out what your customers need it to do. Figure that out before you start building it.
Yes, that's right. Good point.
Okay, yeah. And to add to the like photography and video and design and all that as well, I would argue for having copywriting that's good as well,
Yes.
because
Yep.
I've seen some service provider websites where it's just like it reads like a Wikipedia article.
Yes.
There's nothing encouraging me to work with you. It's just like a definition of what a lawyer does or
What
what a finance
yes.
provider does.
That's so true. That's another really great one as well. And I know that we have ChatGPT and other AI at our hands at the moment, which is good. But for anyone listening out there, unfortunately, Google will know if you have copy and pasted straight from ChatGPT. So you will
Mhm,
need to, if you do use it as a tool, you will need to make sure that you make your own edits or have a copywriter make the edits or write it from scratch, uh, because Google does want human copywriting. So,
mhm.
yeah, it's a very, very good point as well.
Yeah, even though the search results are being AI generated now.
I know. Will the AI know that they're pulling in AI copywriting? Who knows?
And like I think we can tell, especially if your target customer is like millennial or Gen Z, like I think we're a bit more tech savvy, so we can sort of like tell when things are artificial.
Yes.
And we also like really appreciate seeing those real authentic photos of you on your website too.
Yes. Yeah, definitely, definitely. It just humanizes it, and I think
Hmm.
that that's something that w is a big differentiation between, yeah, a good and an okay website or a great and a good website, yeah.
Hmm. Exactly. So do you ever get any requests from clients to add something to your website, but you think, oh no, actually, no, don't put that on your website. You don't need that.
Yeah, I do. I will advise normally accordingly. Ultimately, it is the client's decision, but I will do my best to advise. So probably one thing for most industries, maybe some industries it does work okay, but too many pop-ups. I feel like a lot of people's instincts are just to like close it straight away. They may not even read it.
Hmm.
Perhaps if it's within the e-commerce space and it is a subtle, and it's providing a really amazing discount, then
Hmm.
people might be like, will want to interact. But a lot of the time, people don't want to see your free thing until they've built some trust. So build
Yeah.
some trust first and then offer what you'd like to offer them, I would say. The
Hmm.
other thing is sliders with 15 images. I don't just having a look at heat maps on other websites in the past, and a heat map is basically uh, a map of where people click on your website.
Hmm.
So, looking at those, not many people actually click and scroll through every single slider. So, don't put important information behind that first or second slide.
Hmm.
Um, my recommendation is ditch the slider and go with a video if you have the budget,
Hmm.
or a really great photo that represents who you are. Yeah, there are other ways you can include movement and interaction into your website, and I'm not sure the slider's it. So those are probably the 2 that
Yeah.
I don't do very often, And if I do them, it would be for a good reason.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty normal and expected to often see sliders on e-commerce websites, and
Yes.
I think they can be good if they're like I've been looking at them recently and they're doing their end of financial year sale or whatever.
Yes,
Like
that is one where I
that's
have seen them.
yeah, like put that sale as your first slide and then whatever else is your second slide. Like the thing that you most want people to see should be
Yes.
first.
And
Um,
also, I think on mobile as well, the slider can work because
yeah,
you're compressing a lot of information into one, and people are very used to the swiping on mobile
yeah,
phone.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So if you are like, I was on the Uniqlo app the other day doing the exact same thing, end of
yeah.
financial year, and I was swiping through the promotions. So I think it's definitely okay to consolidate what may be lots of banners on a desktop view into a slider on a mobile view. That's one option. And yes, you're right. If there's a lot of juicy content, people will be more likely to click. But I guess it's more so those sliders that have zero information or zero value add on each consecutive slide that it would be a bit redundant to have it. And it also um, just packing in loads of images like that can also it may also contribute to speed.
Hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to make your website unnecessarily heavy in terms of images and image size. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would argue like service providers definitely don't need sliders. And
Yes.
I find also like industrial websites probably also don't need sliders.
Yeah.
They can do with some images that like show off, say it's an industrial machine, like show
Yes.
different angles of your machine or whatever, but that doesn't need to be in a slider. I think
No.
with industrial stuff, people are more interested in like the specifications and where you
Yeah.
can ship it to and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. Or like reading about very specific products. And then
Yep.
in that case, they would click into the product page or into the specific product. So I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. And here's another good segue, and you did mention it just before, but speed. I know that there's there may be a desire to have lots of cool videos and lots of high-res pictures, but if you don't implement them properly, or if you put too much on, it can
Yes.
really slow your website down. So did you by chance have any like stats about website speeds and how it influences user behavior?
Sure. I don't have any specific stats, but I believe Google looks for something under 2.5 seconds.
Hmm.
Don't quote me on that. I can double check, but I think it's
Yeah.
around that mark. So this ideally you want to be getting your website to load in a second or two.
Yeah.
Uh, and one of the major contributors to that is photos. So if you're taking a photo on your DSLR camera and you don't properly resize it, then you could be having like a gigabyte of photos on your website that when someone clicks the link, their browser will then have to download 1 gigabyte's worth of photos, which is
Hmm.
not going to take 1 second. It will take as long as your internet takes to download
Hmm.
1 gigabyte's worth of data. So similar with videos as well. If you just upload them straight onto your website, you might experience some loading issues there. So for videos, I would recommend putting them onto YouTube or Vimeo, and then they can be embedded. And there are some ways that we can get them to autoplay and things like that. So you
Hmm.
can have some more ambient background video.
Hmm.
So that could be
Yeah.
one way to alleviate having too much, taking up too much space. And the other way is that when you do take your photos, put them through Photoshop, or if you don't have Photoshop, at the very least Canva. Don't
Hmm.
save them at 100%. People won't tell the difference between 180 or even 170. Put the photos side by side and see whether you really think there is a massive difference, and size it to a standard screen.
Hmm.
So the largest screens that probably someone will have is about 4K, which is around like getting close to 4,000 pixels wide, you might not need to cater for that. You might be able to go for a 3K or a 2K screen and still look good on those larger screens. There are also special things we can do so that it will only load up the image according to the screen size to ensure that you're only getting the photo size that is required for you. There's also a image web format, WebP. So if you do have Photoshop, you can also save your photos as a WebP format, and that will also reduce the size compared to a JPEG. And PNGs generally are the heaviest. So at the very least, save as a JPEG at about 80% and the right size. So that's one way to get around
Yeah.
photos and videos speed.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool advice. And I will note that for some of the not so tech savvy business owners, so you might be used to, like, when you upload photos to, say, Facebook or Instagram, like, there's basically no wait when you see people's content. That's because those platforms have, like, software built in that compresses those images down. But if you just upload straight off your camera onto your website, like, it may not intuitively compress the photos for you. So you're getting that full resolution photo, like you said, a gigabyte, and your customers, like, they're not going to sit and wait. They're going to leave your
No.
website.
Exactly. Yes. I think that 2.5-second mark is probably the max where people will be like, okay, I'm sick of waiting now. And then they'll go back. So yeah.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
I believe some platforms, Webflow and maybe Shopify, will automatically convert your images to WebP.
Yes, yeah. I know Shopify does.
Yeah,
I'd have to fact check the Webflow one.
yeah.
But yes, yeah. So that's good if you do use Shopify or Webflow.
Mm. Yeah, cool. But yeah, if in doubt, consult someone like Kim. And if you're concerned about your website doing its job properly, or, like, if you're going to hire someone to do it and you're worried about the cost being worth it, like, make sure that you are checking those boxes, that it is loading fast and that it is fulfilling your objectives. That's enabling people to contact you. If you need customers to find you on Google, it needs to check those boxes. It needs to be fast no matter what.
Exactly. Great.
And yeah,
Great thing.
it needs to convey who you are as well.
That's right. Back to the branding.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
Wow, that was a lot.
A lot of details. I'm
Yeah.
sure people's brains are frazzled by now. Technology can be quite overwhelming. So I hope that everything was palatable enough. And if you do have any questions, again, you can reach out to myself or Lou.
Wonderful. So could you just also tell us about if someone wanted to work with you, like, what kind of help are you providing now? What's the best way for them to reach you?
Sure. So I'm actually going through a transition period at the moment while I'm studying my software side of things. So at the moment, I would say that I am open to website projects. I think that that's where I'm at the moment.
Mhm.
TBC on the regular ongoing maintenance. I am working with my clients that I currently have, and I am probably closed for new general website maintenance
Mhm.
work at the moment until further notice. However, I am always available to answer questions, and you can send me an email or give me a buzz, and I'd be happy to help or point you in the right direction.
Ah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. And yeah, I just wanted to, yeah, make it clear to anyone listening, like, if you felt like this was a bit too much and you'd like us to drill down on anything or explain anything a little further, you can just reach out to either of us. If I get a lot of questions, I might even do a follow-up episode to this and answer those.
That would be good.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
That's okay. No worries. All good. Thank you so much for having me.